Good morning. Time for the news. Let's see what's happening this week in the villages. Popular Starbucks in Lady Lake to close for 3 weeks for renovations. Oh my God. That's going to affect a lot of people. I don't go to that one, but I am a Starbucks fan. You know, I really am. Roaches force closure of food serving area at Ocala movie complex. Okay. Man jailed after hammer death threat and kick to deputy's face. Man, got to be on drugs, right? I don't know. Some people, you know, I just think they're born to just live in jail because you can't reach them after a certain point. You just can't reach them. An Ocklawaha man was arrested Saturday night after attacking another man, threatening to kill him, and then kicking a Marion County Sheriff's deputy in the face. Let's see. A man at a home on Southeast 52nd Street told deputies that 22-year-old Jesse J. Antalik was out of control and hit him in the face with the closed fist before threatening to strike him with a hammer. The man said Antalik held the hammer above him and said, "I'm going to," and they've got a blank thing there, you fill a blank in, "I'm going to blank kill you," a sheriff's office report states. The man said he eventually was able to wrestle the hammer away from Antalik and put him in a hold. In order to defend himself, he told deputies that Antalik was gone inside the house after the incident and was still there. Short time later, deputies went inside the residence and took Antalik into custody. He told deputies he didn't want to speak with him and was placed in handcuffs inside the patrol car, the report said. The witness, who is friends with Antalik, told deputies he saw him strike the other man in the face with a closed fist, grab a hammer, and threaten to kill him with it. The witness also told deputies there have been ongoing issues between Antalik and the man. And it goes on and on and on, too much to read, but basically the guy in the back of the deputy's car was kicking the door, kicking the windows. They had to remove him from the car. When they removed him from the car, that's when he struck the deputy in the face. With his foot, he kicked him. They had to, what we would call in Indiana, they hogtied him. You know what I'm talking about, and they put him back in the car. So I can only guess that drugs or alcohol was involved there. Another day in the life of an officer, right? Water on a golf cart path leads to near miss, caught on dash cam. Yeah, there's a lot of people down here anymore that basically to cover your ass, I guess, legally, they're putting in dash cams in their golf cart and in their cars. And they video everything whenever they go down the road. I have a couple of them. I don't have a dash cam. I got a GoPro 5, and I generally have mine on top of the golf cart, and it's just generally on. So when I'm going down the golf cart path, if you're walking, riding a bike, or driving a golf cart, or whatever you're doing, I'm taking a picture of it. Not for legal reasons. For me, I'm just vlogging, and I take these things and I pin them together to try to make some kind of a little bit of story, so you can kind of get an idea kind of what it's like to live in the villages on a daily basis. And what else we got? Inside the bubble. In recent weeks, we've covered the future expansion plans for the villages, new roads coming to the villages, as well as the expansion of several public safety departments to handle all the additional people and issues that will come with that. One thing we haven't covered is how Community Watch will keep step with all the growth. Oh, I'm sure they've got a plan. You know, just they'll buy more trucks, they'll hire more part-time people, and life goes on. When I worked for them, one thing that's interesting, when I worked for them, I couldn't get the job. Jobs are bid by seniority, basically, and I'm used to that. I did that with UPS too. So being low man on a totem pole like I was, I couldn't hardly bid anything. I just covered people that were sick, took a day off, and it was okay. But when they have a construction site, a large one, and they're building and adding on and all that kind of stuff, all the houses and things, there's a lot of construction equipment sitting around. There's a lot of empty houses that they're finishing up. They're painting, they're putting in the trim work, whatever the case may be. And in most houses, at least in this area, I've walked through almost every house in my neighborhood that other people own today. But when they paint them, they go in and they spray paint, seal it, whatever, they paint them. And then they go home at night. In more cases than not, they leave the house totally open. They leave the lights on, the garage doors up, the windows are open to air them out. And then they come in the next day, and then whatever they do the next day, probably put on the finishing trim work and things like that after the paint's dried. Maybe go around, touch up the paint or something, I don't know. But they're open. So, you know, anybody can just walk in these houses, and there's appliances in them. There's probably construction equipment in the garage, you know, like maybe some lumber, maybe some sawhorses, things like that. So, and they're vulnerable. Well, one of the jobs in a new area where they're building, you know, dozens of homes at the same time is they used to have, at nighttime when everybody was gone, they used to have one of the community watch guys had a truck or a car or whatever, and that was his job at night, was just patrolling that. He would go down to this construction site and find a place to park, and he parked there, and he would get, you know, watch the construction equipment. And he, you know, he might cruise around a neighborhood a little bit or something like that, but basically he was there all night long watching, well, all night, his 6-hour duty, watching that construction equipment. And I always thought that would have been kind of a, you know, an easy paycheck. And I'm sure down there at Finney they're doing that right now. Oh yeah, this doesn't affect any of you guys, but just to let you know that every year they have a weekend. It's called, what's it called here? Florida Annual Sales Tax Holiday, where you can buy anything you want in the state of Florida. I think it's anything. I take that back. It might not include cars, because that's a big chunk. There might be some exceptions in there, but basically you can go out and buy a lot of stuff, furniture, clothing, I don't know what else they have, but there's no sales tax. The state of Florida gives that to you one weekend a year. Florida's annual sales tax holiday is taking place this weekend. This is last weekend. While it is originally intended to help families save money while shopping for their kids' back-to-school needs, everyone can take advantage of it. Retirees are known to come out in droves for this weekend's savings. You can read more about this in the article from the Village's Daily Sun. So, like I said, I don't know everything it includes, so I'll plead ignorant to that, but it's kind of cool. Yeah, free meals for all Sumter County students this year. Noise study concludes proposed diners will not impact villagers on historic side. Is that about that new, what's it, Daryl's Diner? I've been reading a lot about that for some reason. A noise study has concluded a proposed diner will not negatively impact residents of the historic side of the villages. It is a controversial plan for a Daryl's Diner, the home of the new eatery Teague's Plaza, would include 6 apartments upstairs and the diner on the lower floor, and would be built behind homes on Tarson Boulevard on the historic side of the villages. Teague Plaza will be located on 1.63 acres and 1124 Teague Trail, which is also known as County Road 25. Villagers have previously shown up at town meetings to voice their displeasure about the possibility of having a diner in their backyards. They complained that the original pitch from the building was for medical offices, but the man spearheading the project later asked that a diner be allowed to open at 5 a.m. The man pushing the project, Lawrence Breach of T. Lynn Properties, has only confirmed that he and his partners want to build a 45-seat restaurant. However, Breach is known to be an investor in the Daryl's Diners chain, as well as internet cafes. T. Lynn Properties on July 3rd presented to town staff a noise study conducted by Sabine Associates Incorporated over a period of 6 days between May 18 and 24. The noise study found the primary sources of noise were motorized vehicles traveling south and north along County Road 25. But a proposed 8-foot wall between Teague Plaza and the homes in the villages will significantly reduce noise. No additional mitigation aside from the installation of the 8-foot wall and landscaping buffers will be required for the project to remain compliant with the town's noise ordinance, according to the document in a packet prepared for commissioners in advance of Monday's meeting. Well, there you go. What else do we have? Employee reports theft of money at Lady Lake Specialty Care. A 22-year-old employee has reported the theft of $360 while she was on duty at Lady Lake Specialty Care. This marks the fourth theft at the facility in just over a year. You would think if you're an employee in a place like that, and I'm just saying here that, you know, when you got a specialty care, that's a 24-hour around-the-clock, 7-day-a-week care, right? How come these employees don't have a locker assigned to them? So when they come to work, especially these women, this is probably mostly women jobs. I know that's not proper, but basically, I'm just saying, for argument, that men or women, who cares, right? How come they don't have a personal locker where they can go in there and she can take her purse, the guy can take his billfold, take all of his whatever he has to put away that's important to them, and put them in the locker and maybe have their own lock with their own key, their own combination or something, and put it in there and lock it up and then go do their job. And this, I would venture to say that this would either cut it completely out or significantly reduce the problem. I just see these things, I read these articles all the time about these problems, and I wonder why there's a problem, because when they build these $10 million buildings to handle people, and they're getting paid top dollar from insurance and whatever to take care of these people, how come they don't have a $5 locker for the employees working there? It seems to me it's like they just don't even think about that. Bartender alerts police to intoxicated driver at Spanish Springs Town Square. Well, the bartender's doing what he's supposed to do, I guess. He don't look very good anyway. Look at the guy. See it? Back it up. There. He looks unkept, is the way my mother would put it. What the heck? So why did that get dark? Bartender alerted police of an intoxicated driver at Spanish Springs Town Square, resulting in a man's arrest. A bartender at Margarita Republic called 911 at about 1:30 p.m. 1:30 p.m.? Good Lord, he's drunk already? Saturday after she saw a man bobbing his head while sitting in a white Jeep Cherokee with front end damage. According to an arrest report from the Lady Lake Police Department, the bartender said she stepped outside to see if the man needed medical attention. When she looked inside the vehicle, she saw a large can of 4-Loco, L-O-K-O. I don't even know what that is. Man later identified as 64-year-old David Simo of Weirsday drove away. Let's see, the police caught up with him. The officer said he told the officer he only consumed half a beer and he drinks to calm his anxiety. He also said he takes oxycodone twice a day for pain. Failed to sobriety. Of course, they arrested him, took him to jail, and then he was released after posting a $2,000 bond. Okie dokie. Let's move on. Here we go. Popular entertainer at villages, towns, squares booked at jail. Hard to tell. Could be anything. Well, he's got looks like a couple of bruises and cuts on his face, so I'd say he got into a fight. Longtime villager entertainer who performed at Spanish Springs Town Square on Friday night has been jailed in Marion County. Mark Seymour, 52, who you may have seen perform throughout Florida's friendliest hometown. That's funny. He's got bruises and stuff where somebody's punched him or whatever, and they call it Florida's friendliest hometown. Over the years, was arrested earlier Saturday morning and charged with domestic battery. Oh. He was booked at the Marion County Jail at 4:29 a.m. and initially was being held without bond. Details about Seymour's arrest weren't available Saturday. Well, I'm not going to comment on that. That's a family thing, and I'll just say good luck to everybody. Students will be heading back to class this week at Villages Charter School. Earlier and earlier every year, it seemed like to me. When I went to school, we got out, it seems to me, right before Memorial Day. But I'm thinking Memorial Day back then was like the first week that the family could figure on a family vacation somewhere. I'm thinking. So I'm thinking I got out like in the 1st of May-ish. And then we went back to school right after Labor Day weekend, because Labor Day weekend was the last weekend that you could plan a family outing. Yeah. And then back to school. So when I hear about kids going back to school, you know, early August, it's like, geez, this gets earlier and earlier. Free spay and neuter vouchers available to Sumter County pet owners. See, there's no excuse. Detours planned for Interstate 75 traffic to accommodate road work. 72-year-old Lady Lake woman reports $1,151 in fraudulent bank charges. I'd say somebody probably stole her identity. It happens. Got to keep an eye on that. I do. Everybody does. You do the best you can do. That's not going to guarantee you're not going to get screwed somewhere along the line, but you do the best you can do and keep an eye on it. And here's something simple you can do. Most credit card companies do this. You'll have to find out from your own credit card company, wherever you get it, you know, how to do it or whatever, but mine does it. I'm Bank of America, and mine does it. I know City One Bank does it. There's a lot of them that do this. If you've got a smartphone, you can sign up somehow, some way on your system so that every time you use your credit card or your credit card is being used, I mean within a minute, I'm going to say a minute, mine's quicker than that. I'm amazed how fast I get notified. You'll get a notification on your phone, a message saying that your credit card is being used at this store and the amount is so-and-so. If this is not you, then you press this button and it'll take you where you need to go or whatever. If it's you, just ignore the message. And that way you can see every time your credit card number is used, it comes up on the phone. So when my wife's out buying stuff, because we got the same number, and she's out grocery shopping or whatever, I know when she buys stuff all the time. I mean, she knows when I buy stuff all the time. So just get that and just keep an eye on it. I'm not going to read that one. That's politics. I'm not going to read that one. That's more politics. Couple busted with thousands in counterfeit bills and multiple drugs. You know, it was last week, wasn't it? Didn't I report last week that some store somewhere got like $200? A lady came to the store to get change for two $100 bills. They called the police because they were counterfeit bills. And I don't know if they arrested her or she took off or what. I vaguely remember some story last week about that. Young couple too. Look at her. Look at her. She's pretty enough. She doesn't have to be doing this kind of thing. A couple was arrested Thursday afternoon after a Marion County Sheriff's deputy recognized the passenger as a man who was wanted on an outstanding warrant. When the deputy tried to make a traffic stop, the silver Nissan Altima's driver, later identified as 20-year-old Nicole Suzanne Fairchild, refused to pull over and continued driving south on Southeast 183rd Street, the report said. During the pursuit, the passenger, 29-year-old James Woodrow Etheridge, threw something black out the window and into a ditch, the report states, adding that deputies finally got the car stopped in the 2900 block of Southeast 183rd Avenue. After both Fairchild and Etheridge were taken into custody, a detective walked back down the roadway and located the black bag in a ditch that contained 20 grams of crystal-like substance that field tested positive to methamphetamine. Deputies also found a small amount of a green leafy substance that tested positive for marijuana and a pipe used for smoking the drug in the bag, the report says. After being read his rights, Etheridge told deputies he threw the black bag out the window because that was all he had. And I knew I was going to get in trouble. During the search of the vehicle, a sheriff's lieutenant found a black plastic bag in the center console that contained $15,510 in counterfeit bill money in $100, $50, and $20 bills. 10 of the bills contained the same serial number, which confirmed they were counterfeit. Inside Fairchild's purse, the sheriff's lieutenant also found substances that tested positive for cocaine, methamphetamine, and marijuana. Both Fairchild and Estridge were transported to the Marion County Jail. Fairchild of Ocala was charged with fleeing, eluding police with disregard of safety to persons or property, possession of cocaine, possession of a controlled substance, possession of marijuana, not more than 20 grams, and possession of counterfeit bills. She was being held on $15,000 bond and is scheduled to appear in Marion County courtroom September 4th, 9 a.m. to answer the charges. Estridge of Morriston was charged with trafficking methamphetamine, 14 grams or more, possession of marijuana, not more than 20 grams, possession of drug paraphernalia, possession of counterfeit bills, and a probation for violation for an earlier battery charge. He was being held with no bond and is scheduled to appear in court August 22nd at 9 a.m. for the probation violation charge, and on September 4th at 9 a.m. for the other 4 charges. Wow. Wouldn't it have just been easier just to go out and get a little job? You know, save your money. Everybody's looking for that quick fix. Okay. I think that's really pretty. Oh no, here's another one. By the way, all these are not happening inside the villages, like that one I just read. That's outside. It's all around the outer edges of the village. Up there around Spanish Springs, 441 and 27, the highway there, very, very heavily traveled between Leesburg and Ocala. So there's a lot of things that goes on there that doesn't have anything to do with us. I'm just reading it to let you know that these are things that do happen around us, you know, and that's kind of why they call this the bubble. We are inside the bubble. You go up past that and go in them shopping centers and like Home Depot and Sam's and up in that area up there. Nothing wrong with the area at all. We go up there once in a while to go out and eat dinner or whatever, but that's outside the bubble. A 54-year-old man arrested last month on charges of stalking and extortion has been unable to be located by deputies trying to serve papers to him. Jay Sanchez had been arrested July 19 after allegedly terrorizing a Villages of Parkwood woman with whom he had been involved romantically and professionally. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center but was released the following day after posting a $5,000 bond. The woman has been granted a temporary injunction for protection against domestic violence. A hearing had been set for Friday before Judge Mitchell Morley in Sumter County Court. The woman was hoping to make the injunction permanent. Court records indicate deputies had been unsuccessful to locating Sanchez to serve him papers. Another hearing before Judge Morley has been set for August 14th. Well, I got my own opinion about these papers that they give people saying, you know, you can't be near this girl, you can't be within 500 feet of this girl, you can't go to this girl's house anymore. Those papers are only good for law-abiding citizens, and most of these guys and girls, most of them, they scoff at the law. The law doesn't mean anything. And I know as a police officer, they say, well, yeah, but this is probable cause. If he shows up, now we have probable cause to arrest him. That's all well and good. But by the time you get the complaint and by the time you get the probable cause to go after the guy, he could have already beat this woman half to death. And that's where I find the problem. And I don't really know what the answer is for something like that. I really don't. It's a toughie. So I'll just say good luck to her. I hope everything works out. Okay, I think this is about the last one, and that's probably good. This is probably long enough. Players, sponsors sought for upcoming MOAA golf tournament featuring increased prize money. I don't know what it is. Twice the prize money and greater opportunities for more villagers to participate and win are two new incentives in this year's Military Charities Golf Tournament, which is being held Saturday, August 25th at 2 p.m. at the Hacienda Hills Golfing Country Club. The Lake and Sumter Counties chapter of the Military Officers Association of America is sponsoring the all-day fundraiser that features a step-aside scramble and a shotgun start. Who's that? Oh, that's that guy that needs to buy a muffler for his golf cart. As well as an auction and dinner buffet. We are encouraging more golfers to participate, especially women. So anyway, it's just another charity for the military. They're big on that around here. I'm all for it. They collect money for different things for the military. I don't know what that one's exactly for. I'll claim stupid to it. But it's a good deal. It's a good thing, especially if you're a golfer. I am. I participate in some of it. I don't participate in, if I did all of it, I wouldn't have time to do anything. So I'm going to get out of here. Today's beer day. I think I got a meet and greet today somewhere. So I'm just simply going to say have a great day. I'll see you all on the other side.